Good morning. Good morning to all of you. It is so good to scroll and see you here this morning. It was so good to see so many of you in person yesterday at our outside flower communion. I think it's fair to say that when we sang the covenant together, there wasn't a dry eye in the parking lot. And I want to thank the volunteers and the staff who made time on Saturday afternoon to make yesterday's outside service possible. It was truly a joy to be together. If you weren't with us yesterday, we did post it live on our Facebook page. And so if you go to the Facebook UU Reston page, you can actually watch a little piece of it. So thank you to everyone who made yesterday possible. So we're in a Zoom meeting format again, like we were last week. So I'm going to invite you to take the time to look into each other's eyes, to wave, or maybe to do a thumbs up, or I love patting people on the back who I can't see. So let's take a moment and scroll through the gallery for a few minutes and say good morning to each other. If you're not on gallery view, and if you don't have your speaker on, those are two ways that might enhance your experience of this morning. I'm seeing 4 pages of people to look at. So I'm gonna take a second. So why don't you take a second? So good to see all of you. And those of you who are being shy, we'd love to see you too. So great. It's so good. It's so good to see you. Today is the Sunday we set aside for volunteer appreciation. So many of you volunteer each year, and I hope you know that UCR appreciates and values each and every one of you. So much goes on behind the scenes that many people don't know about, and it's important that we take the time towards the end of each year, especially perhaps in this year of social distancing, to let you all know how much we appreciate your time, your talent, and your commitment to UCR. I want to point out that appreciation is different than gratitude. It's not just being thankful, but it's taking the time to acknowledge each other's gifts and service. So gratitude is about how you feel or how we feel individually. Appreciation is about making the time to make sure that others feel seen and thanked. And so we're so glad to take this morning to appreciate all of those of us who make UCR the community it is. I've lit a special candle this morning for the people of Israel and Palestine. May the ceasefire hold, and may there soon be real peace and justice in that region for everyone. I want you to admire the beautiful flowers behind me that are left over from yesterday's flower communion. I'm leading worship this morning with Linda Weaver, our DRE, Cynthia Young, our music director, and Jesse Leong, our accompanist. Nate Otto is running the technical side of worship, and we're grateful to have him with us now. And Beth DePasquale and volunteer Maggie Mack are our tech assistants and will be your ushers in the chat. I want to appreciate each of them as well. We only have one announcement this morning. It's the reminder that the annual meeting is happening 15 minutes after the end of the church service. Members, you should have received an email on Thursday with all the links you need for the important votes you're going to be taking. So please, 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 if you are a UUCR member, please stay on, go get a cup of coffee, but come back because we need you to sign in, and we need a quorum so we can make the decisions that need to be made today official. So let me invite you now into a time of worship. Please take your deepest breath of the morning with me. Seriously, right now. And let us enter into a time of centering and worship together as Jesse plays one of my favorite pieces, What a Wonderful World. Thank you, Jesse. I can never hear that music without hearing Louis Armstrong in my head. The opening words this morning are a song for the unsung by my colleague, the Reverend Steve Crump. You come up with new ideas. You gracefully accept the group choosing someone else's idea. You step up to make the extra contribution. You make welcoming room for others. You acknowledge children and are happy to be around them. You hold a child, hold a confidence, hold a hand. You go the extra mile, contribute the extra dollar, and give the benefit of the doubt. You know that congregational life is all about relationships. And because you know this, your spiritual discipline of forgiveness is always at hand. You, with your presence, offer an honest and holy companionship. You accompany others in the dark nights of their soul. You do what you do because you can. You often wish you could do more. You labor not for praise or for a song, but for the good of doing the work and for the good of the community. You are a UUC volunteer, and we are grateful to each of you.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Young, and I am the music director at UUCR. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1010 in our teal hymnal, Oh, We Give Thanks. And we do give thanks and appreciation to all the lovely singers leading us in song in this wonderful recording. The Pitlock Schmidt family, Megan, Mike, and Vivian, Maggie Mack and Randy Newton, and Bob Anderson. The words will be in your chat box. Please do sing along.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here, and those far away. For this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
We give thanks for the old and young, for time of wonder, joy and fun.
For all we give as we grow and live. Oh, we give thanks for the old and young. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away. For this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning. I'm Linda Weaver, the Director of Religious Education at UU Ruston. As Reverend Debra lights the UU Ruston chalice, you may wish to light a candle in your own home. Our chalice lighting words this morning is an excerpt from Bless a Stranger with a Smile by the Reverend Dr. Monica Cummings in Voices from the Margins. Take time each day to remember you are part of the interconnected web of life. Bless a stranger with a smile. Tell the people in your life how much they mean to you. And take a moment every day, beginning today, to give thanks for all that you have.
In our church, we intentionally recommit to each other every Sunday by singing our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church. We will sing along with our own UUCR choir and congregation virtual video. The words will be in your chat box. On Appreciation Sunday, I would like to remember and appreciate that this arrangement was composed especially for this congregation by Angela Wiswesser. Thank you, Angela, for this enduring gift. And if you are visiting us this morning for the first time, please accept this song as our blessing to you.
Oh, it's so lovely watching you all sing that. I'd like to begin today's appreciation by welcoming Barbara Okerson to the spotlight. I want to thank Barbara, our retiring president and our outgoing board member. Barbara has brought such grace and deep and her commitment to her 3 years on our board of directors. And I'm especially grateful, and we are especially grateful, Barbara, as a congregation for your leadership in this difficult, physically distant world. I think you had no idea when you agreed to be president that you would be president for a year of the pandemic, right? Barbara has led our board through many difficult decisions that needed to be made in this year with deep listening and a deep commitment to each of you. I am grateful for her and her deeply caring presence. Barbara is now going to thank our other outgoing board members and our key committee chairs who will be completing their current time of service.
Thank you, Reverend Debra. That was very gracious. I appreciate it. So I would like to say, Paul, you once opened a board meeting with a quote from Casey Stengel. You might remember he said, finding good players is easy. Getting them to work together as a team is another story. And you are that other story. Your granddaughter actually described you perfectly last week in her coming of age ceremony. But I want to add this. You have that rare ability to take a principled stand, often a difficult or unpopular one even, while respecting the perspective of other people. In the end, you celebrate the process of working together and loving all the players. Your service as president of UUCR is appreciated more than you know now, and maybe even more so in the years ahead. So thank you, Paul Cohen, for your service as our president for at least a couple of terms. Meredith Kimball. Meredith, you asked me and gently nudged me to work on the board's part of the annual report for 2021. Well, in reviewing this year, I noticed that every event, every accomplishment, every victory that we celebrate today has your fingerprints all over it. As Vice President, your leadership in crystallizing our vision, translating it into a strategic plan with clear goals, working with the Leadership Council, committees, and task forces, especially the COVID reopening task force, and stewardship, all happened in large part because of your hard work, often behind the scenes, and I'm sure late at night. On behalf of the congregation and board, I thank you, Meredith. And I hope you find more time to play after these grueling 3 years on the board. Ann Welch, you are or have been the chair or co-chair of the membership committee since 2016, and I know many other times in our history. Thankfully, Ann plans to continue to be an active member on the committee. She says that the best part of serving on membership, and I quote, is the opportunity to meet the many new people who continue to search out our community as a place for spiritual growth. I know I felt welcomed by Ann, and probably many of you did too, and do too. She makes me feel like I belong here. As a board member, I know I can always call Ann for any background information, any history, anything that ever happened in our church. Ann's the person to talk to. So thank you, Ann, for helping us find our way along our own spiritual journey and for taking really good care of us. Kara Fortner. Kara has served on the worship committee for 6 years and chaired it for the last 3. She says that she was drawn to the committee because of her experience as a lay leader. I quote her, she says, "The way we allow for voices to explore out loud in a supportive space with open ears and minds is by far my favorite thing about our faith and this church." She goes on to say that our UU principle, which calls to us to a responsible search for truth and meaning, is sacred to me, as I suspect it is to all of us. Her experiences as a lay leader, especially in worship, has led her to follow the call to ministry. I couldn't be happier to hear that. Kara, thank you for letting us be a part of your spiritual journey and for your service on the worship committee and the hybrid service committee task force. Thank you so much, Kara. And Dick, courageous Dick, was in his second year as vice president during the 2019-22 church year when the facilities committee needed a chair. Everyone on the committee was too busy taking care of our facilities, inside, outside, upside, up top, bottom. So he agreed to take it on since he had already oversight of the facilities committee as vice president. He was happy to be a part of the team dedicated to maintaining and improving our church facilities, but he wants to be sure that whatever words of appreciation are spoken should include a shout out to all the members of the facilities committee who are dedicated to getting the job done 24/7. I especially want to acknowledge John Welch, who stepped down from the facilities committee after 40 years of service. So thank you all to our board members, our committee chairs, and I just encourage everyone else to take advantage of the opportunity out there to work and serve UUCR. Thank you.
Thank you so much to these and all leaders at UUCR. Now is the time for all ages. And for this Appreciation Sunday, our story is adapted from Thankful Dogs by the Reverend Naomi King. Once there was, and once there was not, a family of dogs. They loved each other very much, even if sometimes they growled at one another, even if sometimes they worried about enough biscuits from the tin on the counter, even if some dog didn't feel good and snapped at another dog. They loved each other very much. Each night, as the moon rose, the family of dogs went outside and sat in a great circle on the soft grass and watched the moon rise and looked into each other's eyes and wagged their tails. It was a doggy thing to do. Then, when the moon was a dog's tail above the horizon, the eldest dog would bay at the moon. And what do you think the dog was baying about? The eldest dog was telling the other dogs and the moon and the whole world what he was thankful for. He was baying, "Thank you for this day, for the running and jumping. Thank you for the biscuits and the tasty treats. Thank you, little brown dog, for nosing the ball my way. Thanks for being able to sing. Thanks for this and everything." Then the youngest dog would point her nose to the moon and begin baying. And she was saying, "Thank you, wonderful sun that warmed my back. Thank you, fragrant fragapani, so sweet. Thank you, pack of dogs, for wiggly dances. Thanks for ringing ice cream truck. Thanks for this and all my luck." Then one dog after another would join the baying, saying their thanks until they were singing together and to the moon. But they saved the best for last and howled together, "Thank you, parents. Thank you, siblings. Thank you, neighbor and friend. Thank you, stranger and world. We share our thanks for every being, whether near or far, no matter who, no matter where, no matter what you are. Thanks." They did this no matter what the weather, no matter how many or how few of the family was home, no matter how they felt. The dog family gathered together each and every night to greet the moon and share their thanks. Now, let us share in their circle of gratitude. In your home, on mute, perhaps even in a doggy voice, repeat after me. Thank you, parents.
Thank you.
you,
Parents,
Thank you, children and teens.
Thank
you children and teens.
Thank you, UUCR community.
Thank you, UUCR community.
Community.
Thank you, neighbors and friends.
Thank you.
Thank you, neighbors and friends.
Thank you, world.
Thank you, world.
Thank you each so much. And thank you to the dogs who are joining us for this. We share our thanks for being every being, whether near or far, no matter who, no matter where, no matter what you are. Now, all say after me, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And thank you. This is the time in our service where we invite you to share your joys and concerns. Perhaps you might want to light a real or a virtual on mute. Thank you. Thank you. I'll start again. This is the time in our service where we invite you to share your joys and concerns. Perhaps you might want to light a real or a virtual candle in your home to mark what it is in your heart as you watch the candles in the bowl in our sanctuary. Please take the time to read each other's joys and concerns and then enter into your own time of meditation and prayer as Jessie plays for us. Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life and love, we know you by many names, or perhaps no name at all, but the stirring of love in our heart. We reach out this morning to those who are grieving the loss of a parent, grieving the loss of a pet, grieving the loss of a friend, grieving with the nearly 600,000 Americans who have died this year from COVID, more than 3 million people whose families mourn around the world. We grieve with those who face relationship difficulties and job difficulties, financial difficulties, and we reach out with love to each of us who struggle. And yet we remember to say thank you, to say thank you for a 57th anniversary, to say thank you for a new job, to say thank you to this community, to all the volunteers and all the leaders who make the work of UUCR happen. We remember the words of Meister Eckhart, the only prayer we ever really need is thank you, thank you, thank you. May that sense of gratitude fill our hearts and our days and all the days ahead. And so may it be, my friends. Amen. It is time now for our new member ceremony. We are so delighted to welcome 8 new members into our membership since this past November, including 3 people who have joined us in the past 2 weeks. So I'm going to introduce the new members who are participating in this service this morning, and they will be joining me as Maggie and Beth spotlight them on your screen. So we want to welcome Barbara de Beaufort and Parker Deal, Jeff and Jill Lauer, Susan McCracken, Carl Mitchell, and Sydney Topolewski. We are so glad that each of you have decided to join us, and we are so glad to get to know you. The most important part of a new member ceremony is recognizing that membership is a covenant. It's making sacred promises to each other. And so for those of you who are with me this morning, when I finish asking you this set of questions, I'm going to ask you to signal your acceptance of your part of this covenant by saying, I will. And Beth and Maggie, let's make sure these 7 people are not on mute. So new members, will you offer us your unique presence and gifts? Will you add your name to the history of Unitarian Universalists who spread hope with our living faith? Will you engage with us at UUCR as we seek to create beloved community and a world dedicated to love and justice? And would you together please say, I will.
I will.
Members of UUCR, will you welcome these new members into our beloved community and promise them your acceptance, your presence, your friendship, and your care? And if you will, would you please write welcome and I will in the chat box? And new members, take a look at the chat and please let these welcomes wash over you and into your heart. We are so glad you're here. I'll give you a minute to do that. And now I'm going to ask Maggie and Beth to unmute all of us. And I'm going to ask that we say, not sing, the words of our covenant. They'll be in the chat box. And I'm just checking to make sure there's a moment to unmute all of you. And it's going to sound a little cacophonous, but not to worry, it's the spirit that counts. And so all of us, new members and existing members, would you join me in saying, Love
Love is the spirit
spirit
of
of
the
the
church,
church.
and
Love
service
serves
the
saints
saints.
all
Together in peace,
well together in
truth
peace,
in love,
in love,
to help one
to
another.
help one another in fellowship.
Fellowship.
No fellowship.
Not written correctly.
I want to welcome each of you to UUCR. We are so glad that you have found here a community of love, a sense of transcendence, a place to nurture your spirits, and a place to help heal the world. We hope that you will find healing and comfort and challenge here, and that you will be a member for many, many years ahead. Welcome to each of you. And Cynthia is going to introduce our special video.
The traditional folk song, The Water is Wide, is originally from Scotland and is also known as the tune Wally Wally. This gorgeous melody has spread throughout the world, with many different versions of the lyrics being developed over time. Our version emphasizes that when the water is wide, I will need a friend to help me row across. Thank you so much to Megan Pitluck-Schmidt and Mike Schmidt for recording this beautiful duet arrangement for us. Let's all enjoy The Water is Wide. The water is wide, I cannot get over, nor have I wings with which to fly. Oh, give me a boat that can carry two. We both shall row, my friend and I.
As we look out across the sea, a bright horizon guides us true. Love is the love that leads our way. O'er waters wide, I'll row with you. The water is wide, the water is wide. I cannot get over, nor wings with which to fly, Give me a boat that can carry two. We
Thank you. That was beautiful, beautiful. I think we need to get Mike and Megan a copy of that tape so they can keep it, play it each year. Today, we are celebrating our community. We have celebrated our board members and our outgoing key committee chairs who are completing their terms. And now we're going to honor all of our volunteers with a shared litany. Cynthia and Linda will join me in reading this litany, adapted from a piece created by my colleague, Kathy Ryan Starr, that I have been updating each year. We ask that when we finish an area that you in your home join us in saying, "For this we thank you," and we will be prompting you in Orlean as well as in the chat box. So if you could turn on your camera if you haven't already, and if you some of you may want to look on gallery view, and if we mention a committee that you're on, please raise your hand or give a thumbs up so we can acknowledge you. I wish we could see you standing up in the sanctuary next year. So let's begin. To our board members, our nominating committee members, our finance committee members, and all the committee and subcommittee chairs, your leadership, you have served us so well. And for this, we thank you.
Thank you.
To the worship associates, choir members, handbell ringers, band members, children and youth singers, musicians, readers, lay worship service leaders, online tech volunteers, the Arts and Aesthetics Committee, you helped create meaningful worship throughout the year. And for this, we thank you.
Thank you. To the membership committee, caring committee, the neighborhood circle captains, the knitters and fiber artists, the people who bring food and offer rides, you have helped take care of the people in our congregation when they are in need. For this, we thank you.
To those who oversee the building and all of the facilities, to those who create and care for our beautiful grounds and gardens, and for those who serve on the Green Sanctuary Committee, you assure that our church and our grounds are functional and beautiful. For this, we thank you.
We thank you.
For all those who have offered education for children, education for youth, who are youth group advisors, provide education activities for adults, worked on the holiday pageant, served on the LLE committee, you support lifespan religious education at our church.
For this, we thank you.
Thank you. To the alternative gift market volunteers, to those who provide food to the homeless through the Hypothermia Project, to those who volunteer with The Closet, Voice, and Cornerstones, help the refugee family that we sponsor, you have helped bring comfort and nurture the vulnerable in our communities. And for this, we thank you.
Thank you. To all who made calls or wrote postcards for UU the Vote, served on the Racial Justice Task Force, worked for immigrant rights, volunteered for the Rest in Pride Planning Committee, and organized other social justice actions, you have helped us live our faith aloud. And for this,
we thank you. For all the new ad hoc committees, the COVID-19 committee, the hybrid streaming committee, the HVAC committee, and the piano selection committee, thank you for your added work and expertise during this very difficult year. And to the interim minister search team for all their work and long hours. For this, we thank you.
To the members of all the committees we haven't yet named, communications, endowment, stewardship, personnel, the Safer Congregation community, you make our church run. For this, we thank you.
We thank you.
May this litany serve as a reminder to all of you that we all have the ability and the obligation to say yes to service in this community. May each of you here listening accept an invitation to say yes to a new opportunity for service in the next year. Yes to an opportunity to nurture your spirit. Yes to an opportunity to build community. And perhaps yes to stepping up to a leadership role in the coming church year. We trust that you will find the right way at UUCR to nurture your spirit and serve the world. For all of you who volunteer, all of you who make UUCR the wonderful community it is, and with a request to forgive us if we forgot any committee or subcommittee, may all of us together say, for this,
Yes.
we
We
Thank you.
Wait, what's that noise? Wait, I think it's at Mike and Megan's house. Can someone, oh, look, Mike's spotlighted. Mike, you know better to have your mic on. Wait, you don't? Oh, there you are.
There we
There
go.
you are. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
It seems like there's a special package for you this morning. Something at the door.
Explains those hijinks earlier. Got it.
The staff and I want to express our special appreciation to Mike Schmidt as our outstanding and way and above, far and beyond volunteer of the year, because he became an honorary member of our worship staff for the last 15 months. Mike worked with us from that first virtual Sunday in March 2020, and he committed every Thursday late afternoon and every Sunday morning, an hour before worship, to help us run and manage Zoom worship. And so, Mike, you are more than a volunteer. You became a staff person this year. So we are so appreciative of you for your skills, and even more for your dedication and commitment and good humor and flexibility and willingness to put up with me on a Sunday morning. We want you to have this special token about worship to honor you for this time with us. And so can you undo your gift and show it to everybody?
It's multiple unwrappings here.
It apparently went to many places on its way to you. So thanks to everyone who helped make this happen. And so now you have a chalice to remind yourself of us and worship and your contribution. So I'm going to ask Beth and Maggie, please unmute everybody. And I would like to hear you with your very most enthusiastic response. Join the staff in thanking Mike for his extraordinary service.
Potatoes are singing for you. Thank you, Mike.
Mike.
Congratulations.
And Megan.
Mike, Megan, Megan.
Mike, do you want to say anything before we mute you? But we muted him, but yes, thank you.
I don't know. I don't have much to say. It was, it's been a pleasure. And I plan to be here for the AV needs of the community, even after everything ends. So.
Okay. So Beth, can you spotlight Maggie Mack for me? Is Maggie spotlighted? There you are. Hi, Maggie. So I want to tell you also that Maggie has been our stalwart usher and breakout room volunteer also since the beginning of the pandemic. And I would like to applaud and thank her as well. Thank you, Maggie, for your spirit. Thank you for being always willing to show up. Thank you for your willingness to chip in, and thank you for your desire to serve our community and your ever good humor, no matter what is going on. So thank you. And now, Maggie, I'm going to ask you to spotlight Beth, Linda, Cynthia, and Jesse. I can't tell if they've been spotlighted yet. Beth, Linda, Cynthia, and Jesse. there, and I've got Linda. So this Sunday is usually only volunteer appreciation, but I wanted to take a moment to appreciate and then have you appreciate this remarkable staff and all they have done together for the past 15 months. It has truly been an extraordinary team effort. Each of them has worked far more hours than you paid them to do. And each of them brings such outstanding skills to their job. So to Beth, who learned all things Zoom and became a member of the worship team when that wasn't in her job description at all, working behind the scenes each week while keeping the whole church informed and organized during our distance. To Cynthia, for her extraordinary music talents, her amazing voice, for her always picking just the right music for our worship services and our liturgy, for her hours of video culling and video making, for her inspiring a distance but still close together choir, and then for finding us that beautiful new piano we can't wait to show you. Thank you, Cynthia. For Linda Weaver, who knows more about UU religious education than any professional I have ever worked with. It is such a joy to work with Linda, and who not only learned how to make Mr. Rogers worthy storytelling videos, I mean, so amazing, but has kept in touch with every one of our families this year, bringing them innovative and age-appropriate worship and education through both the magic of Zoom and in-person activities. So thank you to Linda. And to Jesse. Jesse joined us 2 weeks before the pandemic. He played twice before we closed down. And then Jesse fearlessly learned to make and edit music videos for us. Jesse delights us each week with his renditions, and he has volunteered so many hours for you all this year in making those beautiful videos that we enjoy each week. I feel so blessed, each of you, I'm looking at you. And I'm gonna try not to cry. I feel so blessed to have been part of this staff team. I can't imagine surviving this past year without each of you, and I will miss you so much. I'm gonna ask now, Maggie, that we unmute everyone, because I would like all of you at home to appreciate this incredible UUCR staff. Cynthia will now introduce our closing hymn, We Are Building a New Way. And I love that Cynthia picked this hymn out as we approach our annual meeting and our coming out of the pandemic together. This hymn, We Are Building a New Way, will take on special meaning. UUCR is indeed building a new way ahead, and we need all of you to be part of it. So to Cynthia.
As Reverend Debra said, our closing hymn today is number 1017, Building a New Way. You may want to put your setting on gallery view and turn your video on if it's not on already, so that you can easily see each other, because we have hand motion choreography to go along with this hymn. We did do this back in February, so maybe some of you remember. But just in case, we're going to do a quick preview of the motions. These motions are inspired by American Sign Language. So the first motion we're going to do, your hands are going to go up like this, and we're going to be building. So you can practice together with me. Go up like this, building. And then a new way is kind of like this. You make a path forward and out, away from yourself. Stronger is like this. Put up one strong arm. And then the next verse is working, where we're going to be pounding our fists together, working. To be free, free is you cross your hands and then let them go, like you're flying free. Hate, greed, and jealousy are going together like this. You kind of make little circles, but face yourself. And then when you say the word hate, you're going to go like that. Hate. Okay, and then feed, you hold both hands up towards your mouth, and then one hand comes away. Feed. Need is this, your hands on your chest. And love is give yourself a big hug. Okay, so that's our preview of the motions. I think we're ready now. The words will be in your chat box, so please do join in with me and Jessie. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a
So fun, so fun. The closing words today are words that I say to you often. I offer them today to encourage you to think about your service to UUCR in the days, months, and years ahead. How can you make a difference now and in the next year? How will you be a blessing to the world and to each other? The words are from William Penn. If there's any good thing I can do or any kindness I can show to any person or any living thing, let me not defer or neglect it, for I may not pass this way again. Jesse has a treat for us. I hope you will sing along with him, singing You've Got a Friend by Randy Newman as our postlude.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nest warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've you've got troubles, then I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. If we stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Now some of the folks might be a little smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Just me and you. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.
Thank you, Jesse. Doug reminds us this is from Toy Story. So now all I can see is Andy and Buzz Lightyear in my head. But I think it's true for all of us and how we feel about this community. Before we end worship and begin our annual meeting, which will start at 11:15, so 11:15, this is the time for our collection plate. Please be generous by going to the link on the slide or in the chat box and making your donation as Jesse plays for us. You're going to be right here in this space, so do not log off if you are a member. And again, we really need you to be part of this very important meeting. But before I end, let me invite you to say my closing words, which I didn't realize until yesterday. You all actually know them. So if you would like to join me in your home, my friends, go in peace. May our real service begin. Amen. I love you.